we intend to take a decision on the refarming issue prior to the start of the auction.
I think there's a ample scope for the government and the operators deciding what is a mutually beneficial arrangement where the government wins, the consumer wins, and the industry wins, and take this forward. All the issues which are being raised by the interested players, they are being appropriately addressed.
Mobile tariffs increase and will airfares go down? Critical policy decisions taken this week in the telecom and aviation space can impact you, the consumer. Hello and welcome. You're with We Mean Business. I'm Shweta Rajpal Kohli. First up, we're going to discuss the crucial decisions in the telecom space. The government's attempt at providing a level playing field for telecom players is now leading to perhaps more pain and uncertainty for the existing telecom majors. The Ministers' panel on telecom failed to take a final view on the refarming issue or the reallocation of spectrum, but the issue of one-time fee is now more or less settled. On the show today, we'll discuss the impact of these policy issues, especially on the mobile user, and whether mobile tariffs are now headed north. Let me introduce our guests on the show. With me here in the Delhi studio, Mrityunjay Kapoor, Country Managing Director of Protivity Consulting Private Limited, S.C. Khanna, former Secretary General of OSPI, Mr. Romil Shetty, Partner and Head of Telecom in KPMG, joins us from Bangalore, and our in-house telecom expert, Arijit Banerjee, also here with us. Let me first go across to Arijit to get a sense of some of those crucial decisions taken and the ones that were not taken in today's empowered group of ministers.
Shweta, if you look at it, the big issue of one-time fee being settled in the sense that the EGM finally deciding on what will be now sent to the cabinet. What they have decided is that all spectrum beyond 4.4 megahertz will be charged. There will be a one-time fee on it. It will be prospective, and the fee will be calculated based on the auction proceeds or whatever is derived. The price is derived through the auction process. This will become applicable after the auction. On the other hand, because of the Attorney General's view that this may be legally not tenable, and also the fact that in 2008 a decision was taken by the government to charge for spectrum beyond 6.2, and why it is not being done. So what has been done is by the EGM is they have said that for all those players who held spectrum beyond 6.2 megahertz from 2008, so from 2008 to 2012, that is till the time of the auction, for those 4 years on a pro rata basis, they will be paying a one-time fee on the spectrum they hold beyond 6.2 megahertz, and the value for this will be calculated on the 2001 prices, which was about 1651 crore rupees for a pan-India spectrum, and this will be indexed to the SBI PLR to arrive at the value. Our sources in DoT tell us that the total value could come to about 3,000 crore rupees additionally. Okay. Yes, for all these players. There are about 54 licensees. Remember, licensees means licenses per circle, so the companies would be much lesser. They would be companies like Bharti, Vodafone, Idea, BSNL, and probably MTNL also. So these companies will have to pay an additional about 3,000 crore rupees for this time period.
Arijit, very quickly, the one-time fee issue has been a very, very controversial one, with the sharp positions being held on by various people, whether it is top policy makers taking those decisions or the telecom space. Today's decision, how does it really impact the telecom industry?
See, now there is going to be a raging debate on why these people are being made to pay beyond 6.2 megahertz from this particular period of time, that is this retrospective, while the government in principle has decided to charge beyond 4.4. So this controversy is definitely going to rise up. Apart from that, there is the big issue of the outgo. 27,000 crores was already something which was going out of the industry. Now you have 3,000 crores more. So that is 30,000 crores, and we still haven't reached the refarming issue. That's going to be
so hold your thoughts on refarming, because we'll come to that. Yes. Let's get one-time fee over and done with. Like it or not, telecom players have to pay.
If you see my earlier program, in your channel only, I had said that this Attorney General's view to charge from the month of July 2008 onwards has to be done. There is no EGM cannot change it, because, and I give credit to the Attorney General that he stuck to his guns. He was not forced come under the influence of the government. So we need such people who stick to their guns, right?
Mrityunjay, your assessment of how the telecom industry is really perceiving this issue.
See, I think it's going to be an impact on the overall profitability of the industry as a whole.
Right.
And of course, now it's pretty much a settled issue. So you have, the government,
The
the
debate
legal,
is over,
the
really.
debate is over. So they have to deal with it. And I think
Right.
that now going forward, the bigger issue is of refarming and how that's going to impact the overall numbers as we go on.
But to get a sense from you of the kind of controversy we've seen around one-time fee, of course, it's very natural for the telecom players to go ahead and lobby. Nobody likes to pay
Absolutely.
extra money, and especially if it's something you weren't prepared to pay. But looking at it now, do you see the industry digesting it, moving forward? You're saying it will impact profitability. How much?
See, I think there are numbers floating around. So 30,000 crores is obviously a number that already exists. And,
Right.
it will definitely have an impact on the profitability of those organizations. The other thing is that these companies have been living with the idea that, or they had gone through the phase where it was subscriber linked license or spectrum that was granted to them. So digesting it will be inevitable, but it's going to be difficult, and it's from a
But
future perspective.
is it a good policy move?
I think it's a good policy move. Purely, it just brings it brings everything in perspective. It makes it a little more transparent, and of course, it's something that's already been decided beyond a point. So
but the point that I'm making here, and I'll come to you, Mr. Khanna, before I go to Mr. Shetty also, is that let's talk big picture now. These are
Right.
times when we're going to see big telecom decisions being taken, which will perhaps be sort of written in stone for a very long time. Are we seeing India emerging towards a situation where at least big picture policy issues on telecom are now getting clarified? They are now sort of being rewritten, and this is really a transformation of the industry.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. I think there is a lot of clarity. We've gone through a whole lot of scams, a lot of issues, litigations, and this is one step moving towards clarity. Clarity obviously brings in pain, but it's better to go through that pain for a few years and then have something which is clean, which is transparent, and for everybody to see.
That's a very refreshing view, in fact, coming out when we've only heard the telecom sector, Arijit, complaining about it. Right.
Part of the issue has been settled, that they pay the spectrum fee for using it above 6.2. But part of the recommendation of the Attorney General is not settled. He says that everybody will get spectrum free up to 6.2, not 4.2.
Shweta, that's something I think is not going to happen, because the EGM has now decided on pricing above 4.4 megahertz. So it may not be as big a relief for many companies who were actually thinking that if
the Attorney General's view will be taken into consideration.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Right.
Mr. Romil Shetty, before we move on to the refarming issue, we're of course talking about the overall impact with regard to mobile tariffs, and of course we will discuss refarming also, but your sense of whether mobile tariffs are headed north, because that's the one thing that the consumer is really interested in. That's the one thing that the consumer wants to know. They really don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of the one-time fee. At what level is it being charged? Is it retrospective? Is it prospective? I want to know, will I have to pay more when that mobile bill comes at my doorstep?
See, Shweta, I think the tariffs actually have been going up for some time. Forget the one-time fee, forget everything else. It has actually been going up north. It's been done in a not in a large fashion, but it has been going on across circles, across prepaid first, then slowly across postpaid. So with this kind of levy, obviously 30,000 crores, and if you look at the performance of telcos, quarter on quarter, their revenues have, for example, their EBITDA margins have fallen, and it's not just one quarter, but probably about 7 to 8 quarters at a stretch. Different telcos are going through. Their balance sheets are highly leveraged, right? There's a lot of debt sitting in the balance sheet today. Probably more than 2 lakh crores is sitting on the balance sheets. So debt servicing is becoming difficult. So this has to translate somewhere into some price increase. So the price increase was happening before this. Now with this, obviously it will get loaded onto consumers. So I don't think so there's any two ways about that.
Quantum to it, Romil? Would you like to put a quantum to it? Because that's really been debatable as well.
Yeah, it's probably a bit difficult to sort of put the quantum across, but just remember, we're probably our tariffs are some of the cheapest in the world. You can compare to any country, and we are probably among the lowest. So even if you do increase by 25-30%, it doesn't mean that the consumer suddenly will get a huge a bill. I mean, it's basically at the end of the day translates into some paise. It will translate into 15-20 paise. But this one obviously is not small sums of money. So I mean, while I can't put a number to it, but there'll definitely be something which is much more than what today you're actually paying.
So maybe, if I look at the Cellular Operators Association and the numbers they put out for refarming, and some of the numbers were 64 paise, that's the increase that they expect with all the refarming happening. And if you take some proportion out of that, and you look at 30,000 crore in the overall light, so maybe 15-20 paise
is the kind of figure.
Yeah, is the kind of figure, and maybe it doesn't happen immediately.
Okay.
So it's not something that we see.
Let's now move on and discuss the larger issue, refarming, where it was largely expected that the ministers' panel would take a final decision. Arijit, do we have any sense from our sources what really went on and why the consensus couldn't be emerged?
Actually, Shweta, what we're hearing is there were so many issues actually which were to be taken up by the empowered group of ministers, and the biggest contentious issue.
Explain refarming to our viewers, because we often discuss this telecom jargon, but for an average viewer, just explain what refarming is.
Refarming is simply a process by which at the moment, I'll just talk about what the government is planning. They are planning to take spectrum in the 900 megahertz band because the government considers it to be more efficient spectrum. As you move down the spectrum band, actually the spectrum tends to be more efficient. So a 900 megahertz spectrum is more efficient than 1800 megahertz, which means you can, its propagation qualities are better, which means you can have more subscribers, you need lesser towers. So it's basically a more efficient medium. Therefore, the government wants to refarm the spectrum, because when the licenses were opened up, when people like Bharti got their Delhi license, in the early days, 900 megahertz was the band in which all the spectrum which was allocated to all the operators. So the older players tend to have more of the 900 megahertz band with them. So the government is now looking to take it out from them, put it up for auction, and the auction process will of course be will be actually twice the price. That is what had been recommended by TRAI. The existing operators, of course, will have the option. This only will happen when their licenses come up for renewal. So it's not as if it's happening today. It will happen over a period of time. November 2014 is the time when the first license comes up for renewal. The auction will happen 18 to 24 months before the renewal, which is, if you look at the time frame, is this December to May. So this spectrum will be taken out. They will have to bid for this spectrum. If they want this spectrum, they will have to go through the bid process and keep the spectrum with them. Otherwise, they shift to the 1800 megahertz band.
Yeah, I'll explain it more clear. You see, the licenses were given, and under those licenses, 900 megahertz spectrum was given. Now, that is a validity is up to 2014 of the licenses.
Right.
So, government has given something to you on lease or license. You got to vacate that. Unless the government have its own rules and regulations, and government is a fit case to make spectrum refarming in 900 and auction it openly again. And effect will come only after 2014. So the people who are holding the spectrum should not blame the government on this issue at all, because the spectrum belongs to government and they must auction it. Whosoever takes it will take it. And I don't subscribe to the theory that it should be auctioned much earlier. I would say you auction in such a way that when the license is valid up to 2014, and at that time, a few 3-4 months before that, you auction it. Who takes it will use it, others will not use it.
So I while I absolutely agree with Mr. Khanna, and I think it's a matter of 2014 coming and the licenses getting renewed, and obviously the government has the right to change the terms. Though
that's
it is
the government, that's the big question.
Well,
that is what
the license expires and they can get new terms which are market related. But the bigger issue is that worldwide there is no precedence of anybody shifting 500 million subscribers from one band to the other. So while technically there might be some level of agreement in terms to do it, but the cost involved in actually shifting the people to another band. Secondly, the cost of infrastructure is massive.
So what's the government's motivation for it?
I think the government's motivation is obviously twofold. One is 900 megahertz of spectrum is more efficient. Globally, it's used for 3G and more advanced data services. Obviously, it is highly efficient. So 1800, 900, almost as a 1.5 to 2 kind of a difference in terms of capex investment.
So again, a path-breaking move in that sense?
Well, in some ways, because initially, you gave the licenses out on 900. The companies build their infrastructure around. You increased that, and they kept building infrastructure. And agreed to Mr. Khanna, it comes to an end. But there is a level of investment that is very high that has gone into creating that infrastructure, and all that we need to think about is that what happens when you move 500 million subscribers from one band to the other in case it doesn't work out.
Shweta,
it doesn't work.
The same parameter. What happens if the government tomorrow decides to move all the 1800 megahertz people who are on to some other band?
Yeah.
So now what will, then Mr. Khanna may have a different view.
My view is very clear that it is an agreement with the government license. You get a license for a particular period.
No, I'm not denying that, but this is going to be an issue. If you keep shifting operators, let's say tomorrow they decide to shift operators from 1800 band to some other band and say that the 1800 will now be available at twice the price at what you got it. So there is again going to be a problem.
How do we see this issue being resolved? How do we see the government taking it up? Actually, let me go across to Romal and try and get a sense from Romal Shetty on that issue.
Yeah, see, I think like mentioned correctly, 900 is more efficient, which means less capex. The government's perspective obviously is the fact that the incumbents who had the 900, so they had a competitive advantage compared to the 1800 guys, right? And therefore they should actually move away from it. See, the problem here is not the fact that the license ends in 20 years. Yes, the license does end in 20 years. The problem here is certainty, clarity in policy. If there was clarity in policy, let's assume, maybe 5 years back, 6 years back, 7 years back, that listen, this is how we will do, this is how spectrum will be reformed, therefore you need to move towards something else, therefore look at the equipment that you are actually buying, and therefore look at the way you're planning your network. See, this is not a 100 crore, 200 crore kind of investment kind of a game. This is about 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 crores kind of investment which is actually happening. So people need to plan well. My view is that yes, the government is doing it, is trying to bring a level playing field in terms of moving people to 1800 so that they and the new operators are on the same basis. But at the same time, because these operators didn't have clarity in terms of what the policy is, they continue to invest. Like Mrityunjay said, they continue to invest. And now suddenly they may be left with a lot of equipment that is of no use.
Okay, Roman, so
you need to
I get your point when it comes to going back. I know Mr. Khanna doesn't agree with your view, and I'll come back to him. But Roman, my point again remains big picture. Larger issues with regard to the telecom space. We understand that yes, there will be short-term pain, but will it lead to long-term gain is the question, even on the refarming issue. And is it worth it then? Because the government is really trying to settle a lot of telecom issues right now, and we are seeing the industry going through a lot at this point in time, still suffering from the impact of the 2G scam and all of these policy issues being reworked, perhaps also keeping in mind some of the allegations against the government for actually not maximizing revenue. So given that mindset, given the fact that the government is now in damage control mode, it realizes that it needs to extract more from the telecom industry, are we going to see finally these issues being settled for the long term for telecom?
Yeah, so two things, Shweta. I think one is, for example, from a policy perspective, I think every policy which comes in and for the future is always good for the industry. I don't think so there's any two doubts about it, in spite of the fact that it causes pain. But, policy is always a context of time. The time today is, it's probably one of the worst phases of the Indian telecom industry. So when you bring certain changes, it's just going to have a significant ripple effect, right? Second, revenue maximization. Now even the Supreme Court has said that it's not necessarily that's the only objective. I mean, yes, earlier it was, but the Supreme Court itself has given the direction that revenue maximization is not the only consideration. I think the policy clarity, bringing in new policies and bringing policies for the future which can last for the next thing, that is going to cause a huge amount of impact.
When will you ever see the industry welcoming a decision where they will be expected to shell out more? We'll never get to that point in any business. Isn't that true, Mrityunjay?
No, I think
it is true.
If you ask me, if you ask me between 2006 and 2014. 2012, I think there were many things that they could have done. I mean, the only thing is they postponed everything from 2G to 3G auctions as well. I mean, if 3G probably had done 3 years earlier, it would have, a lot of things would have made sense today.
damage control happening in the telecom space. A lot of policy uncertainty for now, but we're going to see clarity emerge finally.
A lot of policy changes happening, a lot of clarity that the government wants around this, but it shouldn't happen in a manner where it's sort of a knee-jerk reaction, and it leads to a lot of investment that's already been made going waste. I mean, end of the day, you want that investment to lead to results. So while I am in agreement with the fact that the policy clarity needs to come, but at the same time, it should be cognizant of the fact that there has been a certain investment, there's been a certain path, and it's been a government policy.
So we need to transition.
See, quickly, I'll tell you, there was a license given for 20 years. Now you make 1 lakh investment or 1,000 crore investment. It is your decision. Government has given you for 10 years, and now 20 years. Now, for instance, the figures given by COI are absolutely not correct. You don't need that kind of money to change it.
The infighting continues in the telecom space. Arijit, who knows that better than you?
However, on this front, I have to agree with Mr. Khanna that the figures by COI are inflated. I seem to be very inflated. And 64 paisa per minute is something which is unbelievable. And I can tell you, since only a few operators will be going through this process, others will be sitting on spectrum. So there is no way in a competitive market that they can hike tariffs by 64 paisa.
We don't have Mr. Rajan Matthews here.
Number portability is there. The subscriber can go to the other operator also, where he can get cheaper phone.
Okay, we haven't discussed the upcoming auction. Right. What is it looking like? Nitinjay, your word.
See, I think with the uncertainty, I think it's one on clarity. There will be obviously some level of resistance with players coming in, auctioning. There'll be some skepticism around it.
But was the skepticism also being sort of, in some ways, the industry also trying to be over-skeptical was also a way of perhaps lobbying for more preferential auction terms? Are we going to see the auction not being such a disappointment?
No.
I don't think it will be a disappointment for sure. There are some players who want to enter and who want to make an impact, and obviously there is a market.
I give credit to the finance secretary who brought the deferred payment system. Auction will be absolutely success. I am sure that the present licensees, whose licenses have been cancelled, they will bid it, and I am expecting 1 or 2 more people to come in.
What are the kind of revenues, Romil, we're looking at for the government with the upcoming auction?
See, I'm probably of a different view that, I don't have a number really, but really, I don't think there would be a significant number of operators going to participate in the auction process. I don't think so. Yes, there are the ones who've cancelled the license, that I agree. I think they will probably will try to win back the license. Second is, I don't think so this auction process will go the 3G way, where it just went significant, in terms of 4 times the reserve price. Here it's 14,000 crores. So I really don't think it's going to go too high, because at the end of the day there's an ROI, and I don't think so you can meet the ROI in the time period kind of which every company has. So I think my view is it's not going to go. I mean, there is obviously revenues which will come to the government, maybe 30,000, 40,000 crores or whatever will come through, but it is not going to be anywhere close to the 3G number, and I don't think so there's going to be any wild bidding as well. There's selective bidding which will happen.
Is there consensus on that issue?
Yeah. I mean, because the reserve price is so high, so you can't go like 3G. So
it won't be like 3G. No ways.
Absolutely. On the issue of tariffs, have we got a consensus going?
In terms of increasing tariffs?
In terms of the kind of increases we're going to see in tariffs.
We are going to see increases, and like it was mentioned, it's been increasing over the last few quarters, and there are companies who are systematically increasing prices across the board. So I think we will continue to see that, and it needs to have some impact on ROI.
Some tariffs have to be increased because the companies are bleeding quite a bit at this moment also because of the debts, heavy debts. And there is a case because government is putting a lot of things, the reserve price being 14,000 crore, you have to change the towers because radiation is there, you want green telecom, you need all this. So we need money, so tariffs are bound to be.
Arijit, for a telecom journalist, very fascinating times. Never before in the history of telecom we've seen so many policy issues being decided in a matter of months.
True, Shweta. And every time you think that this is the end of it, it's deja vu. Actually, you find a new issue coming up, a new controversy and a new issue to cover. So it seems, yes, it has been an exciting time for the telecom sector. Hopefully, the sector will survive for the exciting exciting times to continue, and the government keeps resolving the policy issues.
All right, it's up to the government to now ensure that it can bring in the much needed clarity for the telecom space that is still reeling under the impact of the 2G scam. Industry seems to be slowly digesting the hard truth that yes, they will clearly have to shell out more. Will you, the consumer, have to shell out more? Well, the consensus among our panelists here is that yes, expect some rise in mobile tariffs because of these policy decisions as well.